Ahoy, this is Zdenka. Lightroom is a powerful tool to make your photos look more cinematic. That word has been so overdone these days. In today's video, I've got 10 tips every beginner photographer and advanced need or should know to get the best result, the best photos way faster. And it doesn't matter if you're gonna take the photo with a smartphone, DSLR, drone, or mirrorless camera. In the middle of the video, I'm going to announce the winner of the last Creative Camera Challenge, which was Power and Energy. And at the end of the video, I'm gonna announce new Creative Camera Challenge, what the theme is gonna be this time. There are so many different tools available in Adobe Lightroom which can help you to get the final look you're looking for. My editing style, the way I edit, changes all the time depending on what tools are currently available. That's why it's good to keep your Lightroom always updated. Also what the trends are and what my taste for photo currently is. When I open up a photo in Lightroom, the first thing I'm looking at is how is the horizon? Is it perfectly straight? I simply don't want to start editing photo if it is kind of off, if the horizon is crooked, if the walls are crooked, if it's just not looking right. So for this reason, I'm going to scroll down all the way to the bottom where I see geometry. And first thing I'm going to try is to see how the auto is going to level up the horizon. And as you can see, it's already edited perfectly straight. So I'm gonna look before and after. Just very subtle changes. This photo is very simple, so all it needs is just using the auto. If it would not be perfectly straight with the auto mode, then I could adjust it with those sliders below. But right now, just using the auto is the fastest way with one click to get the horizon perfectly straight. Let me show you another photo which is quite different. And let's first try the same upright auto. And this is a slight look we are going to get. So if I look at the photo before and now after, I see that the horizon has been leveled, but that's just a very minimal change. I'm going to go ahead and reset the edit to the original. And now I'm going to use a different tool. If you hit these two crossed bars on the right, you're gonna hit Guided Upright. What it's gonna do, you will select two lines in the photo, which will get perfectly horizontal or vertical. So I'm going to select the railing here in the front. And now if you actually don't see the circle on the screen, you will just hit Shift and G. So Shift and G is to turn it off and turn it on. And then I'm going to drag another line on the other railing. You have to select two lines. And now you can see that the look has changed dramatically. So this is the look before and look after. Look before and look after. If I was not happy with this final look, I can still drag the sliders below to readjust, like fix the distortion, vertical, horizontal look, or rotate. Now I'm going to reset again, and I'll show you what will happen if I'm going to select just those lines on the edge of the house here, on the wall. One line and second line. And now you can see that the look changed once again, but the railing is quite crooked. So it's up to you to choose which two objects are dominant in the image and which two objects you want perfectly horizontal or vertical. I think I'm gonna go with the railing. To me, it just looks more pleasing. As I was showing you the changes before and after, it happened very quickly. And here comes tip number 2. Many beginners won't know this, but there is a button on your keyboard which will allow you to see the photo before and after with literally one click. And that will be this button, which is the backslash button. I think it's called backslash button. So every time I hit, I see after, before, after, before. And it is a very good idea to get into the habit to constantly check before and after as you are editing, as you are changing the look of the image, because it can happen that you go a little bit too far and it's not gonna look any good, and you will actually realize that the original photo looks way better. There's also one more shortcut which you should definitely remember and definitely learned, and that will be the Control Z. Basically, if you are going to make any change you don't like anymore, you don't need to go all the way to edit and then undo camera raw settings, for example. All you have to do is click the Control button and Z. That will get you back to where you were before. There is a reason why I always prefer shooting raw images instead of JPEG. And it doesn't matter if it's on DSLR, mirrorless camera, or even this smartphone. This smartphone, iPhone 13 Pro, allows me to take raw photos in native camera app. I can also do the same in Moment app. The reason why I'm taking the photos in RAW is the fact that I can change the white balance easily. It has all the data in the highlights and in the shadows. It's not crushed and limited like JPEG files. This photo, for example, was taken with my smartphone. Once I fix the horizon and everything is perfectly leveled, the next thing, and that will be tip number 3, would be trying to understand the photo, trying to analyze the photo. Here at the top is what is called histogram. The histogram will show your data in the shadows right here, in the midtones, and also in highlights. Now, it's gonna help you to understand the image way better. I confess I'm one of those photographers which doesn't really use histogram that often. I usually rely on what I see and also on my senses, but here and there I use the histogram as well. So the first thing I'm going to do, I'm gonna drag the exposure all the way to the darks, and I will see what kind of details I can pull up in the sky and also in the water. I will see what areas are a little bit overexposed and what I can actually bring out. So now that I saw the highlights, I will look at the midtones. I will see what areas are fine. They don't need to be manipulated with much more. And now when I drag it all the way to the brightness, I will see what I can pull up, and I can see that actually when I just have the photo the way it was taken, she is underexposed. And I obviously want to bring the light in her to make her exposed a little bit better. Now I'm gonna start thinking, is it okay if I'm just gonna drag the sliders here as a whole, or should I edit the image separately? I mean, different parts of the image. If I will drag these sliders as a whole, it will help to expose her, but then I'm going to lose all the information in the sky. So it already tells me that I need to work on separate parts of the image, and that I will show you a little bit later in today's video. I don't know how about you, but before I start editing, I need to make sure the white balance is correct. It's very difficult to start editing when the colors are all over the place. I simply want the canvas to be perfectly clean and perfectly ready before I play in a playground. So what you can do is go all the way down here to color on a panel. And a lot of beginners which don't know this program would probably already start dragging the sliders. There's easier way to try it first. Under the white balance right now you see as shot. I'm going to change that again to auto. And as you can see, it already changed the white balance based on what the program thinks. So I'm gonna hit again the backslash button. I also changed the horizon. So this is before, this is after, before, and after. And as you can see, she already looks way better in her skin, and she's already much warmer. The sand below her feet looks also way warmer. This is definitely better. If I don't like it, if I think it's a little bit too warm, then I can just slightly make adjustments with the slider to bring the temperature down a little bit to color, and I can also change the tint I like. If I see that there's a little bit too much green, I can bring more reds. If I don't feel that the reds are good, then I'm just gonna slide it down a little bit to green. So easy way to change or to fix the white balance again is to go to auto. What will also help you to understand your image is actually using just the auto feature here at the top under the main edit. If you hit that, you will see what Lightroom would do automatically with the photo. Now, I would not use it, but it makes me understand where the detail is the most, what areas I want to brighten up, what areas should stay dark. And the same thing would happen if I'm gonna go to the shot with Natalie. I'm going to hit the auto, and now I can see that she's way lighter. This is what the Lightroom would do. It would just lit her up a bit. So this is before and this is after. It's already looking way better. So here in this case, the auto feature is actually quite good, but I'm going to uncheck that. I'm gonna leave it as it was. And we're gonna start working with parts of the image separately. Let's work on this photo with Natalie. And here comes tip number 5. recent version of Lightroom has this new amazing tool. I'm going to hit this circle here on the right, which is actually masking. And now the whole new panel pops up where you have all the controls for masking. And here, all I'm going to do is select subject. I'm gonna hit that. And as you can see, Lightroom already selected her. She's perfectly selected. You don't need to do the brushing anymore, the time-consuming selecting edges. One click and the person in the front is already masked. You see her red. This feature also works on animals and very large objects in a foreground. And now you just slide a little bit, maybe the exposure, I'm gonna bring it up a little bit so I can see more light on her, and she's lit up, she's exposed better. I can play a little bit with the highlights and maybe with the whites as well to make her pop. And if I feel that the colors are a little bit off, I can also do the same thing with temperature and tint. And now already we are seeing the photo a little bit more balanced. It's already starting to look way better. Let's take a break from this tutorial and let's announce a winner of the last Creative Camera Challenge, where the theme was power and energy. The most important thing about this was to show the theme, show the story, or the true meaning of the image. Now, 3 top photos were selected. I'm gonna show them in random order. One of them is the winner of $50 Amazon gift card. First photo here is from Instagram user fishkeepingmadesimple. There's no caption to the image, just the photo. And I can say that this is one big fish to fight. Second photo was taken by Rolando, Eduard, and the caption says, the photo was taken by Sony a7R II and Sony FE lens 85mm f1.5 G master lens in the studio using the slow speed technique with flash. This is quite nice artistic photo. Third photo was taken by Gerry Fraiberg. The caption says, I had the opportunity to fly with the Canadian Forces snowbirds in July 1986 on Media Day at CFB Trenton prior to an air show. This is a scanned 35mm slide edited in ON1 Photo RAW 2121-2021.5. I was in the passenger seat of number 5. You can see the airbase and the Bay of Quinte at the top center of the photo. All 3 photographers are credited below this video in the video description, but only one is the winner. And the winner is... Congratulations to Rolando Eduard for winning Power and Energy round. Gift card is yours. I will get in touch with you directly. But now it's time to return to Lightroom with tip number 6. Let's pull out this photo of a city, and as you can see, the sky is very dull looking. There is not much information there. So I'm going to go to masking again, and yes, they also edit features select sky only. So I'm going to click on that, and I'm going to wait until the sky is selected. And as you can see now, when I go with the mouse over the image, the sky is becoming red, so it's already masked out. And now all the controls of the sky are displayed here. I'm gonna go actually to the lower section where I see texture, clarity, and dehaze. The dehaze, I'm going to drag a little bit to the right. I'm gonna show a little bit more detail in the sky. If I overdo it, this is how much detail you can pull up. But as you can see, there's just too much happening in the sky, so small changes will get you along the way, far away. So I'm going to bring it up just a little bit like this, and I will play with the clarity a little bit. If I'm gonna bring the clarity up, I will get more details in the sky. If I'm gonna bring it down, it will get way softer. I'm going to bring it just a little bit up, but then the texture, I'm going to tone down. I don't want it smudged, the sky. I don't want it way too soft, but I don't want that much detail of a sky. I don't want too much of a texture, just slight detail. And again, I will go back to dehaze and see if any little change will help. And I think that this is pretty good. So this is before and this is after. Before and after. Tip number 7 is here. Next, I have this drone shot I took in Ontario here. And as you can see, the water is quite green. It's very green, and with the green usually comes algae smell. That's what we get here in Ontario quite a bit. So I want to forget about the smell, and I want to actually make the water a little bit more like I'm at the ocean, a little bit more blue. I want to travel. I don't want to be in Ontario anymore, even though we have beautiful locations, but the algae is a killer. So I'm going to go to mask again, and here I'm going to select color range. When I hit that, I'm going to go with the mouse over the greeniest area and just click. And suddenly you can see that all the green in the shot was selected. Now, this is not going to work with every photo you're going to be editing, but some photos like this where you have a very large area of certain color, it's certainly helpful. Now with all the green selected, I'm going to go to temperature and tint. And now all I have to do is just to drag a little bit the tint to the blues. And as you can see, the water is already, if I put it all the way, it's very, very blue. So I'm just going to do a little small change to bring a little bit the blues. So this is before, very green, and after, before and after. As I'm looking at this photo, I'm liking the colors, but I still would like to see a little bit more detail in the concrete here. And here comes tip number 8. As I'm in the masking selection and I see the masking tool here at the top, I'm going to hit the plus to create another mask. And I'm going to select Luminance Range. And I'm going to go with the mouse over the brightest area, which is right here. And as you can see right now, all this bright was selected in the shot. Again, it's not gonna work with all the images, but I'm quite happy that it just selected this bright area. With this selected, I'm going to go again to dehaze, and I'm going to slide it to the right. If I slide it all the way, I'm getting a lot of information, but I don't think I need to do it that much. So maybe just a bit halfway. Clarity, I'm going to pump it up a little bit more as well. Not too much, just a little bit. Texture, I'm going to bring down. I don't want it too much. I want the detail, but I don't want it too sharp. I don't want to see every single spot there. So I just slide it down a little bit. So now the image looks something like this before and after. The color has changed, the details came out. These tools are very powerful and make your workflow very fast. Tip number 9 is here. This overhead photo is pretty much good. I like it the way it is right now, and I just want to save it. But a lot of beginners might know how to actually save a preset, because we can use the preset to get the same look on the same series of photos. I have a couple more photos from this series, the same overhead shots, just different angles, and I don't want to do them all over again. So I would prefer to saving the preset. Here at the top, I'm going to hit the preset, and with the plus sign at the top, I'm going to create a preset. I'm gonna name it, let's say, overhead shot for now. Now, what's important here is what controls you want to save. And as you can see, the masking is unchecked. Because this photo is very simple, and then there was just large areas selected in masking, I know that this is gonna work on the other 2 photos because I was controlling just the highlights and I was controlling the colors. But if I would select just areas masking different areas of the photos, it would not be a good idea to create a preset from it. So here I can select the masking and just hit save, and I save it under user presets. So when I go under user presets, I can already see that overhead shot is right here. So when I go over it, click it, I apply the preset to this photo. And I'm gonna do the same thing for the other photos I'm gonna import, which are from the same angle, same shots. Within a few seconds, I'm gonna get them all done at the same time. Last tip, number 10, is here. And now we are at the point when I said that we're gonna be controlling certain parts of the image. So we're gonna go to masking once again, and we are going to click plus sign because already we worked on the sky to select another mask. And I'm going to select Radial Gradient. Now, what will happen is that when I click on the photo, you will see this little circle. I'm gonna drag this circle, maybe change it to oval shape. I can even turn it around and select the area I want to adjust. I'm going to start with the center. So I'm going to create a little bit bigger oval to make sure I cover the area I want to work on. And now with this selected, I can control other things. So I'm going to pull out a little bit exposure. I'm going to pull up a little bit highlights, not too much, and a little bit whites to make it pop. And again, looking before, after, I can already see that I'm making some adjustments which are important. Next, I will look at the rest of the area of the image, and I'm gonna, again, create another mask, another radial gradient. So hit the plus sign, click Radial Gradient, and let's say I'm gonna be working on this right area over here. So I'm gonna create another circle, and to make sure I cover this area I want to work on, perhaps turn it a little bit this way, don't want it that wide. All I want is just to bring the details a little bit in the waves. So here I'm going to drag a little bit the exposure up. And as you can see, it's already revealing the details in the shot. And with this, I'm just gonna keep going before and after, before and after. Very moody, very dark. It's way better to edit the image with different parts than as the whole image. It's time for me to close the laptop, the computer, and to announce the next Creative Camera Challenge. As this year is slowly approaching the end and the new year is rolling over, a lot of us might have a lot of New Year's resolutions, or we are thinking about hitting the reset. If you watched hitting the reset video, then you know what I'm up to, what I'm talking about. If you haven't watched that video and you are interested to watch that video, I will link it below the video in the video description. So the next round of Creative Camera Challenge is called the reset, and your task is to show how you're gonna tackle the next year, how you're gonna tackle your reset or New Year's resolution. Maybe you're gonna go to the nature to take some photos. Maybe you're gonna try some new sports. Maybe you're gonna try different food. You're gonna eat healthy. Maybe you're gonna be learning something new. Maybe you're gonna have a different job. Who knows? As you can see, the topics are really wide. There is so much options to choose from. And the topic is not the most important thing in this challenge. What is very important in this challenge is the fact that I'm going to be looking over how the image is balanced. So the light, brightness, contrast, colors, how is the image put together? Well, today's video, where I was showing you all the tips and the tools, might really help you to step up your photography and to get you more interesting image and more control in a shorter period of time. The most interesting photo will win $50 US Amazon gift card. This is not sponsored by anybody. This is coming from me. This is the budget I have for this. And the deadline is February 28, 2022. So you have quite a lot of time for that. Don't rush it to work on your photos. Only choose the best. The top 3 again will be featured in the next video, and the one winner will be announced. You may submit up to 5 photos to ZD Camera Challenge Facebook group. I will link it below the video in the video description as well. And just want to let you know that this group was created strictly for submitting photos to those Creative Camera Challenges. So please don't post just random stuff, random videos, or random posts. Those will be deleted and you will be asked to leave the group. You can also submit by posting your photo on Instagram and use hashtag ZDReset22. Give it a thumbs up if you found this tutorial helpful. Subscribe to more. If you have any questions, comments, leave them below. And I'll see you in the next video. Ciao. Ahoj.